Hey, this is Dan. Welcome back to the channel. We are headed out for an adventure today. We're going to be doing Weston Pass, which connects the towns of Fairplay, Colorado to Leadville. It's a 27 mile trail that has a high pass of about 12,000 feet. And if this is something you're interested in, please stick around for the video. All right, I am just outside of Weston Pass. I stopped in Fairplay to get gas, and about 2 or 3 miles outside of Fairplay is County Road number 5, and it's marked as Weston Pass. So this should be a pretty good ride for me. This is the next step up. If you've been following along, we've just kind of been getting progressively more challenging. So we're gonna head over the Weston Pass, which is basically a 2-track road the whole way. Gravel, nothing serious, and there are some embedded rocks and some stuff, which we'll show you as we get closer to the top. But we're gonna drop into Leadville and get some lunch. So come along for the ride. All right, we're getting ready to do Weston Pass. We got our map on Onyx done. It's 1X off-road. It's gonna get us across. So it's about 26 miles or so, 27 miles from just outside of Fairplay, which is that direction, to Leadville, which is that direction. So it should be a nice ride. We start off on Colorado Road number 5, just outside of Fairplay. Some pavement and beautiful scenery. Alright, so the town of Fairplay is at about 10,000 feet, and we're going to climb up to 12,000 feet at the top of this pass today. A little bit of loose gravel to get us started. So this road links the town of Fairplay to Leadville. There's supposed to be some pretty good dispersed camping on this route as well. So from the stuff that I've seen, it looks like there's a lot of good spots, so this might be one of our first moto camping trips a little bit later on. It's October here, so the aspen trees are in full color change right now. I think we're at the peak for a lot of the aspen trees, so but some of them are still really bright. So for me, this will be the longest section on dirt that I've done. So I think this is not super technical. The reviews I've read have been really good, so I'm excited to be out here. This is a little bit of a ride from my house. It was about 2.5 hours on pavement to get here. I don't like riding on Interstate 70, so we kind of took the back way from my house down to Boulder, into Golden, and then up through Evergreen, Conifer, up to where we are right now. So it was about 28 miles to get here. I tell you, this GS just absorbs all of the bumps. There's a bunch of potholes and some washboard and, you know, lots of embedded little rock right here, and it just kind of floats over it. I got my suspension setting in Dynamic Pro, and then Dynamic Auto on the actual suspension itself. So I found that for the riding that I do, that it's the most comfortable for me. There's lots of cool things you can do with this bike and the suspension settings and all the things that are well above anything that I would want to do. So it looks like there's a campground down there. So I have to look at that on the computer and see what that campground looks like. So far the road's been pretty tame, just some embedded rock and some potholes. But this bike just kind of eats all this stuff up. So like I've said before, I'm really happy with this bike and the purchase, and it's a great bike for me and for what I want to do. It's super comfortable on the road. It's comfortable here on the trail, and I'm just happy with it overall. So there's some dispersed campsite with a nice fire ring. So this would be a cool place to come in the summertime. Most of these dispersed sites, of course, are first come, first serve, but gotten to play with the quick shift on this thing a lot today, and it's a really nice feature. It's a little bit different to get used to when you're used to clutch shift and everything, but the quick shift on this bike is pretty nice. Basically, when the arrow for shifting pops up on the dashboard display down here, you can shift without using the clutch. All you got to do is just keep the throttle consistent. Which is kind of counterintuitive. You just gotta kind of learn to just, you know, hold the throttle steady, and you just kind of shift up, and it works. So I found that the shift from first to second can be a little touchy, and all of the reports I had read about it before had all said the same thing, that first shift from first to second can be kind of jerky, and so I just shift it with the clutch. But pretty much from there on, I do like the quick shift up. Like I said, it took a little bit getting used to, but a bunch of nice campsites down there to all kinds of opportunity. Always makes me wonder, you know, what it was like to try and get stuff up here. You know, back in the 1800s, early 1900s, when the mining activity was heavy, what it was like to try and get stuff up here. All right, Weston Pass. Weston Pass. All right, so we are at the top of Weston Pass, 11,921 feet. Pretty easy ride up. I expect the ride down to be about the same. So we'll drop into Leadville and get some lunch, and hopefully this weather stays away from us, because we might do Weston Pass on the way back across to get back to 285, as long as everything holds up. Colorado sure is pretty. This state just keeps on giving. I love it out here, and love what the state has to offer, and it's a beautiful place to live. I'm just glad I can experience all the things that are out here in different ways. Ski season's coming up, so I'm looking forward to that, but I definitely think this route, so headed toward Leadville, side is rougher. I don't think it's any harder, I just think it's rougher. And I am glad we put that alt-rider skid plate on, that full skid plate. I'll leave a link in the description below for that video, just did it. Because there are some things that we could hit on here, haven't so far, but I feel better with the protection that's there. I wish we had seen some snow. I thought maybe there'd be some snow still up here. We've had some warm days since then, and the snow evaporates pretty well while we're in this kind of shoulder season of fall. Another guy on a big bike. I don't know quite what that was, but I will say that the engine brake on this thing is pretty impressive. I don't really have to touch the brakes much at all. As we get to a steep section here. That was a little challenging. Didn't quite expect that little steep drop and the loose stuff. But like I said, with the engine brake and the rear brake, we're able to get through that without trouble. So I think that steep section we just came down probably is the most technical section of this whole thing. So But there's some good campsites in here. Guy with a truck camper made it in here. So we're almost all the way out, so we're getting really close to Leadville, so this road should pretty much be like this the rest of the way down. All right. Cruising on down now. I do have to say I do gain a lot of confidence each time I do something like this. I feel, you know, better on the bike, and so the message is get out and ride. You know, the more you ride, the more you're going to be comfortable. I'm a perfect example of that. You know, I feel like I feel super comfortable on the bike at the level of riding that I'm doing right now, and just trying to work on my basic skills of picking lines and feeling the bike suspension, kind of understanding, you know, how the bike moves and twists and all the things. And there's nothing that that makes up for seat time. And I keep getting to explore this state that I live in, which is amazing. And like this pass has opened up so many opportunities for camping. So it'd definitely be coming back here. All this really makes me excited for next year, where I think we're going to try and do some BDRs here in Colorado, maybe in Idaho. Okay, so that was Weston Pass. So that was 27 miles, basically from Fairplay to Leadville. We're right outside of Leadville right now. You can see Mount Elbert out there in the distance, which is the highest 14er here in Colorado. And this is County Road number 7, which takes us back to the main highway that leads to Leadville. So this was a great road for me. Again, we had talked about the fact that I was kind of getting progressively more and more adventurous. So today was the first high mountain pass that we did. It was the longest day that we did on dirt, and it was great. It's a pretty easy ride, just a step up from the Switzerland Trail, and but it gave me a lot of time to kind of work on my skills and work on a bunch of different other things that I think going to make me a better rider in the end. So I'm going to head into Leadville and grab some lunch. If you made it this far, give yourself a giant thumbs up. This is Dan, and we'll see you on our next adventure.